Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night at the Crib. Anybody's welcome to join. The link is in the chat on the right hand side. And I don't know where some of our normal panel people are, but let's go ahead and introduce who we got. From left to right, our favorite Canadian, Raptor.
Hello, all.
He's not really Canadian, but Magic Mike.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Banana Hammock, right?
Greetings.
Two Doors.
Sides.
And this is Hefe. So I assume you all had a good week with all our time-limited campaigns, and everybody has enough monolith tokens to carry them on for many a year.
2 months.
Maybe.
Maybe? Are you going to keep on refitting them until they're... are you waiting for the next FM drop where they even have a better mortar? And so does anybody have anything that they'd like to start with? No?
FMs are going pretty well. I had concerns and I was wrong. The Zealous tank is amazing, and you just drive it like a Zealous fleet and backline. A lot of the times the turrets will even kill off the ships for you. So you don't even have to worry about all that. You might have to kill a couple of citadels on the right side, but that's okay. And you can snipe the building that shrouds the center turrets and the building that shrouds the rockets from just inside the gate, so you don't actually have to run down that row of rockets. So maybe in theory you could do it with the Punisher and Citadels. That would take forever and repair forever and really suck, but then you'd have to do it without changing your pristine fleet, because apparently you didn't want to build a Zealous. Just build a Zealous. It's the best tank ever.
Okay, let me pop up a slide here that might try and explain what you're referring to. I think let's see, and I will present to everyone. So basically, what you're saying is you are my pointer going after you've gone around. I'm assuming counterclockwise.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you enter here, and then you put a spotter about right here.
Yeah. You might have to move your backline a little down to get out of the way of mortars if your tank doesn't have a lot of gales. But yeah.
Okay. And then basically what he's aiming for is this building right here, which will in turn drop the shrouded areas. And then these, as far as we know, these rockets are have short enough distance that they're snipeable. But you can then fire on them at that point in time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't paid enough attention to see exactly what unshrouded what, but I know you can get that, and I know you can get the big shrouded building next to it, and that should drop all the shrouds. And then you just kill the rest at your leisure, and with good enough movement and range, you shouldn't even have to go around it. Once you're inside the gate, you just snipe both of those sets, the rockets and the other setup from where you're standing. So
okay. Well, now that we have two Kyles on the show, I think I'm going to need to go down to the bar and take a couple shots to come back and deal with this situation.
But then you'll see 4 Kyles.
Yeah, that's
and 4 doors.
There you go. Hello, Kyle. Kyle, is there another name we might want to use for you?
No, that's my game name, so that's all I got.
Okay.
You call him Kyle, call me Banana.
Okay, that's cool. Alrighty. Just wanted to not confuse the audience too much, but and Doolittle, how are you doing?
Fine. How are you doing, Fa?
Oh, okay. I'm still a little, still trying to figure out those the motor gluts, but you know.
Speaking of that, I think I actually came up with a pretty good formula for him. For anybody that's
What's
not going defender route, I had pretty decent success with putting 3 of the. Actually, right now I just have 2 of them, but I'm putting another one in. But the what's the new ship? The Survivor.
Yeah.
If you use that with mixed with the Retributions, you can almost get them completely immune. 2 of them, it took like 5 minutes for them to kill my Retribution. So if I put another one in there, I think they'll pretty much be immune to them.
Yeah, my problem is not at all keeping my ships alive. My problem is my ships last too long, and they use it to splash out other stuff.
Right. Well, that's where it definitely gets tricky. So I had to move a couple things around. But basically, what I do is I have my warehouses right in front of the first Retribution, and so my warehouses bubbled me up before they took out the first ship, and it didn't splash out the island. So I'm thinking that it did hit my island, but it didn't cause enough damage to the turrets. Does that make sense? So they still would have been able to shoot had they brought another prep fleet in or brought another base fleet in.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to move some land around, which I hate doing, especially having to move all those fucking wall tiles around, which I hate doing even more.
I didn't actually have to move any land around or anything.
Okay.
I moved a couple of rigs and put a ship. I moved my ships around is what I did.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, since we're off of that, I will stop screen sharing. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just a matter of maneuvering or changing your base so you don't have the issue of letting them splash off your guard. I don't really. I got hit. I'm planning to put, I think I said in the pre-show, I'm planning to put a chromium overlay on my outpost fairly soon, but I don't know that 50% corrosive resistance it'll add to the walls is gonna.
It doesn't.
It saves you. It saves you 1 or 2 hits. That's about it.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. I think because I got one of them in there on a thing. What do you call it? A oil rig, and it doesn't seem to work very well.
Well, the oil rig only gives you 20%, but the OP and the advanced lab and the naval lab will add 50%.
Could you stack?
So the other possibility is, I'm assuming they also stack. So, put them on your OP, bring your advanced lab back, throw them in a couple warehouses, and keep those walls that.
It's still only going to be like 2 or 3, even when they're stacked.
Yeah.
I had someone try me. I tested it. That's why I just know.
Okay. Oh well. So do you have a better solution besides moving all your wall tiles around?
Buy a bubble.
Nope.
I've not come up with anything that works well.
Distance.
My bubble.
The only bases I can't get into right now are the ones that have ghost crawlers in the garden. That's because I don't feel like spending the coin to prep. Yeah, with rets. I mean, you could, but
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue. There's really no way to stop between the Retribution and the Gluttony.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you at least with my setup, by the time that they would have given me the 25% bubble right at the, right with their first submerge, because I got so much stuff out front, and and all my fleets and main island are intact. So I don't know. Maybe if you looked at the timing of if you don't have a ghost crawler, your hell rate.
What was that?
what was that?
I think it was the other Kyle. But yeah, just for confusion's sake, George, I don't know if you missed it. the Kyle on the left is we'll call him Banana, and the one on the right we'll call Kyle. Okay.
Okay.
Since we have multiple Kyles, we have two Kyles, so it might get confusing. It would get even more confusing if we had two G Daddy D's.
That would
G
be
Daddy,
very.
How are you doing?
Hey, FA. How you doing, bud?
Pretty good. But as far as I was just thinking, as far as you brought that up with the ghost crawlers, as far as the timing with, because not everybody has ghost crawlers, but more people have Hellrays. That
Yeah, you just wait for them to surface on and tag them. I mean, there was one base that I went into that had two gluttonies in the guard that were feeding the Hawk Alpha, and I just waited till those things popped up and I killed them. The splash will take care of them. I mean,
Well, see, I really like the Survivor because I was looking at the attributes and it gives corrosive and explosive. So
yeah, but unless you have a war plating on it and it's way in the back, it gets killed real quick.
well, that's the thing. I got mine way in the back to where if they're gonna have to run past that first retribution and get spotted by everything, unless they want to retribution it out. That's the only problem I see with that fleet right now. But you definitely have to have a lot of distance.
Right, but I mean, the problem is if you have your island far enough back where they don't splash it all out, you have to have all your ships up closer on the front, which means you're either going to be able to get prepped or they're going to die from the splash. If you have your island close enough where you can fit ships in the back, then your island gets splashed out, and who cares about the defense fleet? I mean, I've left. I don't know how many defense fleets I've left.
Well, I think the key again, the way I got one ship separated like by quite a bit of distance from all the other ships and quite a bit of distance from the island, like about 4 or 5 land tiles from both the guard and the.
Yeah, I mean maybe that's my idea. I'll stick an Alpha Behemoth like right at the entrance.
But see, the problem with that is with the Alpha, you have to have other support ships to make it to where it's not probable by like mortars or something like that, right? So, but the Retributions have like 8,000 built-in deflection of explosive, and then you add another, 4,000 to 6,000 deflection on explosive, and then another 4,500 corrosive to each ship. That already has 2. So you're looking at like about 8,000 plus on each one of those categories, which no weapon's going to exceed that, on those weapons. But then you're opening up for launchers is basically the big thing.
Yeah.
So, like I said, you can't guard against everything now. Not yet.
Yeah, and the problem with putting anything up too far up front is it's probable by other stuff.
Right. Right, but at least the other stuff they have to go through my warehouses and turrets to get to it, so it's going to bolt me up at that point. Does that make sense?
I mean, I still have a Mayhem Gluttony fleet that I prep with. I mean,
I've never had a problem with those.
it's definitely interesting. And the problem is too is, do you want to spend, like I have the Ghost Crawler blueprint. Do I want to actually build it? Because what, in 2 weeks? 2 weeks is the raid, and we're supposed to have the Justice, and that's supposed to help this. Is that what they said in the?
I don't
state
know
of the game, or the Doom said it
Let
in
me
either the
ch-
state of the game or on the forum something that the Justice.
We're getting the Justice, but let me double check here.
It's like Justice and Hope, and the Justice is coming out first or something.
Yeah, but normally we get the Defender Hall on the first as one of the sides in the first part of a new cycle. Justice comes in June. Okay. Okay, so I guess yeah. It says Justice is coming in June, but that seems a little contrary to what they've normally been doing because it is June now. So, do we take this as a typo?
No,
Because normally,
I think that they'll actually have it. You know what I mean? Because look, they put the Hawk Alpha out right away. You know what I mean?
No,
I mean,
well, what I'm
they
saying
know
is, what I'm saying is they released the regular Alpha Behemoth on the first raid of the news cycle, and then the Harlock Alpha on the first raid of the news cycle. So this seems to be a little bit off, unless it's not going to be released during the raid. They don't really say. I can read it, or I can screen share if you want. But what it says, with all these new Tier 6 Conquerors, we're now unleashing the Tier 6 Defenders with Justice in June and Hope later on. So, yeah, it definitely sounds like we're going to get the Justice at some point fairly soon.
Maybe a
But is that
TLC.
really going to help the issue that we're running across? Because
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is the splashing of the Allen. That's like it needs to be toned down a little bit.
Mhm.
There's no reason it should have 2 spreads on each salvo.
yeah, that's the problem I'm running. My ships are they're standing stout. It's just the it's the buildings that they're using the my fleet to target off of.
Yep.
Yeah, when my ship is near invincible to this fleet, and that makes it a big problem. When that sentence is true, you have fucked up game design massively. How did you do that? Oh my god.
Well, we used to. I mean, back in the good old days, you could aim off of, and they fixed that pretty quickly. You used to be able to aim at wall pieces, and that really
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
that. That was a
God.
long time ago.
You're
yeah.
That was-
target
that
off
was-
of- oh.
That was floating fortress days, man. You used to beat your floating fortress, aim at the wall tile, and let the splash kill everything. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Fun times. Oh, people used to get pissed about that.
Yeah. And then they put an
Look
end
at
to
that.
that.
Those.
How many times I told people, not to put walls up because it would have target in them days anyway. Just an extra
Yeah.
target.
Yeah, that left us. Yeah, that was. They fixed that fairly quickly because that was. I think that was only around for a couple of months.
Yeah, CJS Motors for the win, baby.
Yeah, there you go.
Way back in the day. We've been playing this game far too long. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, Laredo's in the chat. Laredo, I have a question for you. The justice that we were just talking about since you came late to the party, is that supposed to help us with the friggin' gluttonies? I would like an answer. Let's see if he catches on. I know there's a pause, right? Or
There's
lag.
a small delay.
Yeah, there's a few second delay.
I thought of a good way to stop the gluttony. You just sew up somebody's asshole and just keep on feeding them.
I'll do it.
Okay. That'll do it. Or as I forget who suggested earlier that you just buy a bubble.
That'd be a good way to participate in that new PvP event going on. Just buy the bubble the whole time.
He doesn't have
Bubbles
any
are
answer. He doesn't have an answer for us about the justice. I'm so disappointed.
Bubbles get disabled. They get disabled at the last 2 hours of it or something.
Yeah, or if they had made an adjustment to the splash dispersion, so it actually works on things besides ships, that might be helpful.
Or if they
Yeah.
gave our turrets base corrosive resist, maybe like they have
Yeah.
everything else.
Well, they did say that. Okay, so the justice is coming out, but they also said that there's going to be new turrets and specials, right? Is that what it said, or new turrets?
Well,
and
it
something?
says alongside those are the unsung heroes of base defense. Our tier 6 turrets and specials, which we are now seeing wreck attackers in the hands of the best base builders. So we've seen a bunch of them. We'll probably see additional tier 6 turrets and specials is what we can get out of there.
What about the defensive transformers? I haven't looked too much into that. Don't those provide resistances
They don't do shit.
Yeah. Well,
from
not
corrosive?
here, because you can't put corrosive defense on your turrets. There
Well,
is
that's what-
nothing for it.
The transformer doesn't work for that.
But, well, it increases armor abilities and some defenses, but nothing actually helps corrosive. period. And
Yeah,
I
so
think
you're
that's
multiplying 0 by 25% or 35%, whatever it is. So you still end up with 0 is what
I got you. Yeah. So yeah, if they just put that in there, then yeah. It would look fine.
And the sick thing, I hope they look at the metrics a little differently for this, because I've had people come in with gluts and hit me, and they drove really poorly, and I killed their whole fleet, but they got me 80%, but they didn't kill my OP, so they got 1 star. So
Yeah,
they
so
lost.
That's exactly what
then-
happened to me earlier.
Yeah, and
He
that's
timed out.
that's kind of curious, because the first time we had what was it, the Liberators, someone had said that, you know, they had looked at the metrics and it was like a 50-50 win percentage or something like that. It was somewhere on the forums, and I was thinking about that. If they do the same thing with these to try and decide whether or not the gluttonies are overpowered or not, I mean,
They're going to be wrong.
the problem is, yeah, I think it's going to be skewed, because I know a lot of people are still trying to go in with only 2 or 3, and some people just can't drive. Like, some people can't drive these, and some people can't build them. Because there are bases that, unless I had my armor on and drove a certain way, I wasn't getting into that base. And there are a lot that I'll leave once I get the OP. I'll leave, and I might have, you know, 80% plus the OP, and their entire guard's still there. I mean, is that a win in Kicksai's eyes? Is it a loss? I mean, I don't know how they check that metric, but
I think the biggest thing is it's really not necessarily fun. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't even gone out and used mine that many, because it just really doesn't entice me that much to do something that simple. You know what I mean? I liked it when we had like the Vendettas, and then we had other stuff with like different types of like weaknesses and everything, and you had to like drive and pick and choose and everything. You know, and that was fun.
I don't
Well,
think
I mean,
there's
it's
a
always-
bracket though, is there?
yeah, I mean, there's always a pendulum swing with base defense, and this time it just happened to go way on one side instead of just a little bit, you know,
Well,
back and forth.
I'm of the
Um,
opinion that there's a switch. There is no middle.
If they
There's all around.
hadn't put the building damage so high, it wouldn't have been that bad. You know.
Well, Laredo just said in the chat that he's been talking to the team, and the team is actually looking for a way to make the splash dispersion more useful. So maybe that's going to get applied to not just ships, but maybe it'll get applied to walls and buildings as well. That would solve a lot of the issue, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
you'd be giving up a special spot, you know, or not a special spot, whatever the hell the slots are called on the warehouses and OPs, but
Maybe we'll see it on a ship. That gives out resistance to the buildings for splash.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, maybe that's something that they should start thinking about, because, you know, you already have the Harlock Alpha. They're adding these deflections and whatnot to other ships. If they start adding it to the buildings within that range as well, that would make a lot of sense and help them tremendously.
yeah, I mean, the only thing I don't like is that there's so many damn flagships now. Because I personally, I like having my Zoe Red in, because it wrecks everything but the gluttonies.
Yep, and that's
You know?
why I refuse to fucking take it out. I'm telling you, I think by putting one more survivor in my base, it's gonna be fucking. They're gonna have time out trying to kill something, killed even the first one. They timed out. They couldn't get the OP because they ran out of time, because it took so long to kill all my retributions, and that was just with 2 survivors, 3 retributions. So I think if I flip it and have 3 survivors and 2 retributions, it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to look at your base, because it's.
If I'm on my phone, or I would screen share. Maybe when we get off the air, I'll get on my computer and I'll show.
Well,
you.
I mean, I could actually probably do it if I wanted to, but look through friend view and, you know.
Oh,
but,
yeah. Your friend's on there. Yeah, you can take a look if you want.
But, you know, I'll do it later. But it's sort of forcing a certain build to keep your OP and everything else really far back.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, like I explained, my issue is that we, you know, my ships are holding up too well. You know, I'm almost tempted to take the splash dispersion off so they die earlier. So they die and force them to try and come all the way around my base. Because they can't reach it from where they are.
Well,
they would have to. They're using my fleet as a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
What's the splash range nowadays? Is it like 6 to 10 tiles or something?
It's quite a bit.
150
Yeah.
tiles.
Range of 100, spread of about 20, maybe a little more, once or twice, and splash of near 100. So, yeah, 10, 11 tiles.
Wow. I mean, how are you supposed to even defend against that?
I mean, you're kind of not. That's the thing. And again, if your ships are built well to defend against the attacker, that's an advantage for the attacker, which still makes no sense. So,
What about all them people that put that new transformer out as well, that put the turrets on the water that makes them even more splashable?
well, the turrets do tend to live longer than the guard ships, unless the guard ships are particularly well built. Yeah, they're still screwed.
Mhm.
It doesn't, because there is no way for corrosive defense on a turret. You just can't. Or splash defense, that there's no way. Like, there just isn't. So yeah, I'm glad that they're thinking of ways to stop on the defensive end, but I'm still worried about nerfing. Well, I'm still thinking they should nerf on the attacker's end. This is supposed to be a prep fleet, and you're killing people's bases. And I still think that they're going to say that, oh, it's okay because the win rate is low, but we define a win as killing the OP. But they've killed everything else.
I don't think the win rate's low. Even using that
Even
metric,
killing the OP.
even using that metric, I don't think the win rate's low. I can almost guarantee it's over 50%.
If you don't have
That's-
level 9 OP with all the fortifications and all the highest level turrets, I went in with one gluttony and was basically just fucking walking bases, just one unranked, and it takes out turrets in one shot. It takes out fucking OP
I mean,
in 2 or 3 shots.
You know, the other problem with this is that a lot of people built Mayhem Gluttonies to prep, right? And those could be defended against. But now, if they come up with something that will defend against the Mud Glut, you are gonna offset both that and the Mayhem prep. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's
anything
kind of what
that will
happened with the
stop
deluge
one-
missiles. That's pretty much what happened with the deluge missiles too.
Maybe, but you would also be, or you would be doing something that's going to be minimizing the sloth and the oppressor. If you're gonna
No,
if you're
just
gonna be dealing
give it a
with
big
flash dispersion type.
Right.
give it a big aura with corrosive resist. Bang,
Big ore.
big aura.
Oh, aura.
Like
okay.
range 90, corrosive resist 50, affects everything, not just walls, if you please.
Yeah, but then you're going to completely kill the pride.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, I didn't even think of that. Thank you. Thank you.
This just it's to balance this out is just bad. I think the easiest way, or the most balancing way to do this is to nerf the damn thing. Because, look, I love mine. I have a full fleet of them, and I really won't care if they nerf them. Because, dude, I mean, I should not be doing what I'm doing with these things.
Yeah, it's not really fun. It's like playing in God mode on a fucking computer game. You know, it's like, it's, you know, what's the point?
It's like kicks high or low, though, isn't it? They either go too low or they go too high, and then they have to nerf it, and they have to up ranges it or whatever, you know.
Well, they acted like they learned their lesson, but that we did they not just piss off like 70% of their coiners fucking like less than a year and a half ago with the Reapers? You know, and then what would make this a fucking good idea?
I think they did better than that when they nerfed all hulls of all coiners. Literally took every single fleet out that they had for base hitting.
Oh yeah,
Well, they didn't nerf fleets then,
I
but
mean-
they actually nerfed the all the sub prep fleets. They nerfed the launcher ones. They got rid of the fucking Reaper ones. What made them think that this was a good idea?
Well, they did Grimshines. They did Overload plus UAVs twice in a row. So, and then they did UAVs again,
Yeah, speaking
even though
of
the last
UAV,
UAVs didn't work.
there's a new UAV coming out
Yeah.
as well, isn't there?
That's gonna be interesting.
I'm holding out hope that uses the wording that UAV is used and is not actually a UAV.
Do you think it'll be the same range as what we're on
98?
now?
Probably. I'd imagine 98.
I don't know, but it's supposed to be going up against ships, so you know we've seen the
We've
history
seen that,
of
yeah.
that. Yeah, I mean that's got me leery. I mean the other thing too, and I don't know if they are aware of it, because when you're that close to developing these things and have your perception's a little bit skewed because you're on the other side of that wall. I don't know if they're aware of the cumulative effect of all the stuff that's going on, because a lot of times we'll focus on just one thing, or something will come up and have like the attention of everybody for a while. But I mean, between the chores becoming really chorish, and that the targets, rather than getting tuned down for the map, they seem to be just as powerful as before, and they're just as punitive. I mean, I have a huge problem with the punitive nature of the targets.
Bro, the mines are terrible now. I haven't even hit base parts.
Yeah, I mean, it's
stupid.
I don't want to do all of this stuff. I mean, I want to play the damn game, and I can't.
Well, and the worst part about with the mines and they getting jacked up, I mean, you take one hit and your fleet, you lose basically a ship, and then your fleet's slower, and then you can't get around the target fast enough, and you don't have enough firepower to kill the ship fast enough, so you're taking more and more hits. And it's like one target. If you're not completely on exact timing, then you're completely fucked. If you take one hit, you're gone, and then you're looking at huge repairs. And now all the stuff takes 14 days. These transformer, I was excited about it, and then I'm like, 14 days, I can put it on with base parts. No,
Well, look, here's the thing too: is like I was looking at the end game, got around to doing that because I did Call to Arms, and I was trying to mess around through that, and I made a huge mistake on that one, but that's another story. But I did the end game one today, and before I could do all three of those things for like a quarter damage to my Apollo fleet, driving like I didn't give a crap, which I didn't. I did the exact same thing today, and I was almost dead. Like I got 4.5 hours of damage to some crap, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
Well, we were probably using bullseyes back then.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't using bullseyes. But even still, should it be tuned to bullseyes now when they're not available? I mean, come on.
Well,
there's no reason why 3 targets should take 95% of the health of my fleet. And I'm trying to get oppressors. I mean, that's something that you guys want players to be in PvP. Come on, at least make it balanced. Something.
I didn't mind coining when they had like the Medettas came out, and it was like 5 coins for an entire fleet if you lost it. Like each one was basically like a 30 repair. But now with every single base, if you want to crack a base, it's worth a damn. And now, especially now that they're giving everybody the Harlock Alpha, I mean, you're looking at like 3-4 coins per ship, and on top of a prep fleet maybe.
My gluts take over 16 hours to repair if they're dead.
Nobody's gonna pay that. They're gonna slow repair it. If people will pay 50 cents, to go wreck some havoc. You know what I'm saying?
And I think
they'll pay it over and over again.
I think you can expand that out a little bit. Like, I don't think there's a good reason for making these reintroduced campaigns harder the second time around. Like, the people that could do it the second time did it the first time and got the tech. So you're locking people out of PvP, which is stupid because that's a good way to make money. Instead of nickel and diming everyone everywhere and then they just quit. Like, people aren't going to coin to get the oppressor. They're going to just not do it. And the thing is, you don't need oppressors. You could have gotten the sloth. Hell, you could
the oppressor did well in the last TLC that we had, though.
But the thing is, you could abandon that line altogether. You don't need it. You just get the 7 deadly sins in the raid. And even then, like, people are still talking, oh yeah, I've got X prides. I've got X prides and Y survivors, and I'm rolling everybody, or a lot of people, or now there's mudgluts, but just there are ways to get into PvP without doing such targets with punitive damage, and you just go around it, and you just will.
And that was my point. Is that these things are they've got to be balanced down, not to players that have the stuff already. Like you shouldn't need gluttonies to get gluttonies. I'm just saying.
They actually need to bring them back as a campaign, though, George. I think now, once they've been around 2 or 3 times, nobody's gonna want them who can get them. So put them in a campaign. Let us get them.
I don't think
Maybe
I
the
don't
tier
think we're going to
5
see the
stuff-
campaign. Yeah, the tier
But the
5
one
stuff
thing about
maybe,
the
but
campaign tower is you cannot be helped. So you have to do it yourself. You have to own that fleet. Do you know what I mean?
well, that's the same thing as a
With a
TLC.
TLC. Well, can't you get help in a TLC?
No, you can't get still from the campaign tower.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, but you've only got a certain amount of time, haven't you? I'm on about let us do it after 2 or 3 times it's been out.
They're trying to do some stupid psychological tricks. The economic principle of, oh, I need it right now. Well, you don't. There's plenty of analogs elsewhere. Even
know.
some of them
And-
PVE ships are analogs.
Yeah,
and
and But the thing is I'm saying that I hope that they're looking at the cumulative effect of all of this on the player base. You know, like Andrews in the live chat just said that the grid mono, he wants the grid mono to be as good as a tank as a Zealous, and me too. I have no idea why the Zealous tank is still better than the Gridiron. I don't know why they've allowed that. I don't know why they've allowed that. They should never have allowed that.
Yeah, the Gridiron Mono should be the best tank for Garrison in basically every capacity, bar none, full stop. There should be no instance, but I could get through about 4.5 out of the 6 targets of Call to Arms level Prize Pack 3. I got through all 6 with my Zealous, making a big mistake in number 4, I think, and I still had 20% life left. And it's not that
Well-
there's a big difference in armor, and the resists on the grid are higher, and the grid has more charged armor. Like, why is this a thing? This is dumb.
Well, not only that, it also has a worse. It has a
I
worse
mean-
repair efficiency than the other ship too. It should be way behind it.
No, the Gridiron Mono has a better repair
No,
efficiency
he was
than the
talking.
Zealous.
Yeah, he was
That-
talking about
that's-
the Zealous.
Yeah, that's my point.
But the thing is that the Zealous too, and this is one thing that I have a huge problem with after doing that prize pack full, because I did make a mistake. I got through all 7 of them with the Gridiron with 1 fleet. I died in the last one, and it was because my charge ran out on the X. And the thing is they designed these things. They designed the Gridiron and the Mono fleet around the original charged armor, right? Well, they halved the charge. Well, if that's the case, then they should at least give us, at least 1 or 2 more armor slots to compensate, because now I ran out of the X charge, and I got like half my health gone in just 1 target. And I didn't realize it until the very end. I was like, what the hell's going on? And I went, oh, I ran out of charge. I should have gone out, come back in. I would have been fine. I would have had half the damage at least if I had caught it. But it was a mistake on my part.
Isn't the charge still based on your current percent health as you enter the target?
Yes. I had a lot of health. If you watch the video, I had a lot of health going into that target. And what happened was I got caught by some mortars on the edge because I chose the wrong target to engage first. And I lost my charge there at the very beginning of the target, and then went through the rest of the target, not realizing it until I went, oh shit, I'm about dead on my grid. And I still got through the last 2 targets. I think it was target 5 because 6 and 7 I finished. And
I've got a
7
question for you,
my
George.
grid died.
When you were on about a few shows ago, you were on about the explosive penetrative argument. What do you think it is now? The build for garrison targets. Explosive.
I think it's going to depend on what we see going forward, because the 113 I can still keep my RA on and I'm fine, right? I don't have to change the build. But the targets that we saw in the TLC in Prize Pack 3 and 4, like I would change my entire build, because you have to walk into those cold snaps. You absolutely positively have to walk into some of those cold snaps. And if you watch the video, I tried to avoid as many of them as I could, but you still run into them. And there's one target that you have to hit almost every one of them. And I would change my RA3 to MX3 in that case. But again, I don't know, and I'm going to be upset if I have to refit again. But
That's why I'm saving all my tokens.
yeah, I saved mine because holy crap.
There's no point even doing it, even if you after seeing the preview. I learned my lesson. I'm glad I saved those monos last time. I had to spend all my points getting the tokens on top of the tokens I took into the thing. So might as well just adjust during the raid. Find somebody that's got the right build during the raid. I
I have to stretch my mind a while back to find a flagship that is as underperforming as the grid. It's sad for me to say that, but it's just it's not worth any price they've given it out for. The Zealous is just better.
You know,
I'm glad the Zealous is good and you can do everything with the Zealous,
I mean, it's
but it
it's a
shouldn't be
good
better than the grid.
it's a good tank, but what I'm saying is that if with the changes that they made, they have to adjust those. I mean, they just have to, because now you need to have the same armor pool. You have to have 2 of each of those armors if you were running one before, you know. And you know, and Paul in chat said that, you know, the targets shouldn't be tuned to the charged armor, and they shouldn't.
They shouldn't be,
I
but
don't
they
think
are.
they shouldn't be, but they are, and you know that adds to that whole cumulative effect. I mean, the thing is that the community right now is, I mean, they're on the edge of pitchforks and torches, and I don't think it's one specific thing. I think that a lot of people are very reactionary lately because of the cumulative effect of all of this. I mean,
Well,
all of it is just adding up and adding up and adding up to the
It's
point
the
where,
price tag as well, though, isn't it? At 10 million each, you know.
well, that's part of it. Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, that's why I
Well,
said
it's
in a
even
couple of
wor-
shows, I've said that it should be like at 2.5 million tops, and I don't give a shit if they put it down to 2.5 million. I've bought, you know, I've blown 200 million points in these things at least. Well,
I
actually
think
more
it
than
should
that,
be dropped
like
to at
three
least a
or
million
400.
now, to be honest.
I don't know that I'd see it going that low. 2.5, I think would be a good place to go. I mean, considering how powerful they are, you know, they do have to have a price tag, but I don't think 10 million.
See,
I don't even think
I was
5
really
million
hoping for them
is
to be in the
accurate.
TLC. I would have much rather have charged armors than fucking mono tokens.
They'll be giving them away sooner or later, so they might as well put them down to 1 million and just let us buy them before they do give them away.
I don't think you're going to see them given away.
No.
I don't. It's a very powerful. I mean, the way that they're tuned now, it's a very powerful item.
It's
I mean,
very
they-
powerful,
they-
but they
but they
made
gave
it
the
very
glut away.
necessary.
They've made it necessary. I think.
They
Yes.
gave the glut
They've
away,
got
though.
to give it away sooner or later.
I mean, the first time they gave the grid away.
They're going to have to, for everybody to get hold of it. Because they're going to need it. Otherwise, they're just going to quit the game and say, I can't do these FMs no more. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And it's easier to do that than it is to get 10 million points in a raid for some people.
Well, you know, I think I've been saying this for like 6 months now. This is the raid that they had to get right, because it's our FM going forward.
Exactly.
Of
For 12 months.
anything else, of any other chore in the game, this is the one they can't push too much, because this is the one that will absolutely backfire on them.
I think that's almost their point. Like they think that they can get people to start coining the FM because we all have been pushing how much of an emphasis it is, and now it's like they're trying to turn that into a currency.
That's
Well,
not
they did that
going
with
to happen.
targets anyway, didn't they?
Yeah, and the my kingdom for the financials of kicks over the past 12 months, so I could see some sort of context difference between their communication and ability in 2016 and now.
I mean, you know, if we knew that we had something coming that would take care of the gluts, right? I don't think that we would have as much of stress going on about them. You know, I also don't think that it should have been that much of a swing in that direction. But I mean, you know, without knowing what's going on, we're just left to guess.
I think that splash should have been like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, or the spread needs to be brought down. I mean, the spread, we keep on talking about the splash, but the spread is an equally big issue. But it's because I'm not even sure how it's getting compounded between the initial spread and then the MERV spread. That's, they may not even need to mess with the splash, but just constrain the spread. And that may fix some of it, because there's, combustion 2. There's a couple specials that will increase spread and also splash at the same time. But yeah, the spread I think spread's out of control as well.
It's what, 100?
Morning, guys. How we going?
Hey, Toxic.
It's
Hey, Doc, you're a little low. I'm going to crank up your volume a little bit, or see if you can do something on your side as well.
Hey, Toxic.
Okay. How you doing?
Pretty good. There's too many people for me to get to you. So if you can do anything to increase your volume, well, on the right hand side, I can't get all the way down to toxic. So it's only showing the top 6 or 8.
I'll give it a go.
Okay, yeah, because you're a little bit low relative to everybody else. I could turn Georgetown. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It wouldn't bother me. I got dinner just finished. I have to go eat. But Laredo pointed out that if you don't have the charged armor, you can use the D5s, and it's true. If you have the D5s max ranked and you use them, you can. But the problem with that is it opens up a different kind of worm or can of worms because of the weight. You have to accommodate that extra weight now by taking stuff off that you otherwise could carry. So your build is not as effective.
And are you talking same build time as well for one of them armors to a D5X?
Yeah, I think they're the same build time.
Same build time, are they?
They are now, anyway. Which that's a whole nother conversation too.
Man.
I mean, 10 million points.
I actually try to not swear sometimes, even on this show, George. You are testing me.
I'm sorry. I mean, these are the types of things that I contemplate. I mean, it's when I look at the game, I don't look at just one aspect of it. Because I want to understand why people get upset. I want to know why people are frustrated. Like I personally, I'm frustrated right now, and I think a lot of it has to do with not just one thing in particular in the game. I think it's just a compounding of all the different issues. Because base parts, I'm like, I really do want to have an option to auto my chores, even if it's on lower tier stuff. You know what I mean? Like the 57s for the Reaver Armadas, I can auto those. I have a build, I can auto those, and I'll just do a half a dozen of those whenever I get free chance instead of going and doing like 102. I can do the 102 if I have to, and I can drive it, and that's fine. But now for base parts, I can't.
I think another issue with the talking about the compound, I think it's even bigger than what you're saying though, because to me, it's with talking to a lot of people from my lines, it's just a lot of people complaining about the shit. So like the more people you have in a room complaining about something, the worse people feel about it. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, but the thing is what I'm noticing is a lot of people are becoming very reactionary to just one thing. Like the Mudgluts came out and everyone freaked out about the Mudgluts and this and that, and they're concentrating on one aspect of the game. But then when you stop and actually talk to some people, it's not just that one aspect, right? Because I mean, worst case, you pull your guard and you just hit repair. We've been in that position before. It's the fact that there's so many different things right now that it's not like going okay. It's not something that I want to quit the game over, but it's something that annoys me, right? But if it's happening in different aspects of the game, my overall annoyance level goes up. And then when something like the Mudglut happens, I become reactionary and flip my shit, right? When really I'm not flipping my shit just because of the Mudglut. I'm flipping my shit because of the cumulative effect of everything, right?
Yeah, because the 113 is the other thing that I think is potentially is affecting more people as far as being upset about.
AKA 84.
Yes. Because the 113, it didn't show up when we thought it was going to. And there was no transition for that target class. There was no time to like, okay, I'm going to figure out the 113, do a little fiddling on my ships and learn how to drive it. And, but I'm going to hit the 109 in the meantime. There was none of that, which which I think is pissing off is probably as many people as the Mudgluts.
Yeah, because it's frustrating because the thing is if you had the 109s, you could do your FM in the 109s, right? You'd be done with your FM and then take your time and practice on the 113s, which is, how we transitioned to other targets. This time, I mean, honestly, the only option you have is to wait and have some of us do it and watch our videos and go, okay, that's how we did it. And then
I know there's a lot of people at the moment, though, getting really pissed off because they've had to step from 109. They can't do the 113, so they've actually dropped down to the 87s, and they're really pissed off about doing that.
Well, the question I have, and when I hear this, the question I have is, what are they using? Because I've seen Citadels do the 113. I've seen the Amps do 113, and I've seen the Monos do 113s. I mean, it's a different type of driving, and honestly, I'm not a big fan of the, you know, you have to creep up on every damn little thing so you don't, you know, again, the punitive nature of the targets, it's a thing, and it's not being addressed. But if they're going, well, I used to be able to hit tier 5 with Nova Storms, how long did you really think that was actually going to last? You know, I mean, that's not top tier, and you're hitting top tier, and yeah, you know, that's great. It was a good idea, and it worked. But yeah, I don't know that, you know, I don't know that you should expect to be able to do that. Like the people with the Vendettas, I mean, I saw somebody crying the other day because he couldn't bring his Vendettas until 113. Well, you know, how long did you think that was going to go for? I mean,
well, and there were the people that were using the Vendettas that started building Citadels and got halfway through that fleet and then realized, okay, now I need to be building something else, and maybe some of them kept on building the Citadels. Yeah, I don't know, because they were really pushing the Citadels for the last, you know.
Yep.
Well, I ain't
2
gonna
weeks.
leave. I ain't gonna
Still do
leave the
good.
game until the game actually shuts down. That's me. But personally, right, I just can't find motivation to go on to the game anymore.
Yeah, that's a big problem for me too right now. It's like I get upset looking at some of the stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the targets take a long time to do, and the punitive nature is one thing, but I think creeping up on every little target and just edging into the bare end of your range. It started with the Hellraiser and the Reaver cycle, and we were talking then about how lag would cost you half a ship, and that's still the case. Like, our ships shouldn't be this, like, paper thin, I guess. Just take so few shots, no matter what. And get off your stupid bullshit land with your 8 ping and your holier than thou attitude, and play on a real live server outside of your, you know, office building or whatever. Play on the live game with the rest of us. Play with the lag that we play with, and then come back and tell me that these targets are well tuned and that it feels fun when you're dead in 2 shots, because even though you pressed the button fast enough, your ships just kept on sailing right in those targets and they all died.
Agreed.
Yeah, the scourge targets are still not fixed.
About 2 or 3 millimeters up to about 4 inches. My ships are jumping with lag nowadays.
there's some seriously good info that I just got from Laredo that he just put in chat. The 113s are actually going to get a reap timer so that they get reaped off of the map. It's going to be set to 6 hours, which is a lot, but at the same point, that's a long time. But I mean, it's better than nothing because they're getting. I mean, they're absolutely getting rimmed to hell.
Yeah, but that's not good enough. That it needs to be at least an hour.
Why?
An hour's long enough.
Why?
Well, an hour's long enough for it to stay on the map.
It's going from nothing to 6. I mean,
yeah, I know, but
it's better than nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but next week it's going to get worse because a lot of people are hitting the 102s.
Yep.
This week.
Oh yeah.
People
and
that
they're
are
gonna be gone.
Yeah, the 102s will be gone next week, and we don't know what that target's going to look like.
Well,
it'd be
it might
nice
not be
if
worse.
they released it this week so we could people could adjust and
Practice.
feel a little bit more comfortable in their
Yeah.
FM.
Well, if half the people quit this week, then next week it'll be easy.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I foresee the 113s if they keep on getting rimmed like that. I have a feeling that they're gonna end up sticking a lot of the points on
Points on
that
the
shrouded, on those shrouded rockets.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
but then you know, I saw Caesar walk in and just level the whole damn thing for like 2 minutes of damage with what the hell did he use?
A Zealous and Sits.
Yeah, it was Zealous and Sits.
Stuff that's in tier 2 of the FM. Like it's the tech availability is not Kicksai's fault this time. Everyone else on the internet, you actually have the stuff. Start building it.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
But
Gonna just
Brian,
get those
the issue is, and what we keep on bringing up is there was not a transition period.
Oh no,
That's
I
what I'm-
completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Like that is some bullshit.
Yeah.
Actually, the transition period usually is a couple of targets
Months.
put in, a couple of targets pulled out, a couple of targets put in, a couple of targets pulled out. But they just
Yeah.
pulled them.
No, well, no. It's normally you have
They run
two
concurrent.
targets. So there's two targets of the same class coexisting for a month, and then
Yeah.
they drop the other one.
No,
What
I'm on
they're doing
about
now is they're taking one from, they're removing a class and adding something new.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
there's
mean, they
not
used to
really any
run 'em-
transition on that part of it.
Yeah, they used to run them concurrent with each other for like a month, and that's what they did when they went from the 97/107/102 when they went to the 102 109. I mean, we had about a month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Hey,
I
how
would
do you-
have
Orders,
liked to have
defense
seen
grid.
that again. I mean, having them come out concurrently would have been fine. I don't think that would have been a problem, especially if they started a month early like they did now.
And if
But
I feel like if anything, they should have been given more lead time because this is the FM, the important thing, the thing you can't afford to fall behind on.
Hey, how would you all think a Zealous, if somebody started building one right now with the tokens that they got coming up, how do you think it would perform with that rank?
With
Say that again?
The
Yeah,
Zealous, if you built the Zealous right now without rank, how well do you think it would do on some of those targets?
I don't think it would. I mean, you need the rank. I mean,
Yeah.
you absolutely need
Yeah,
rank
maybe not.
on,
Maybe
on
not
an
skull,
anti.
but some.
Yeah, CM ships need rank.
Yeah.
You
So
might
there's
do
no
better
point.
with
There's
like
no
a
point for me to build a Zealous at this point, then, right?
Mm-mm.
Well,
I
to get it out on
don't
the
know
board for
about
rank.
that. There's going to be a lot of, I'm sure, because last raid there were a ton of Zealous tokens on offer. Like you could just about build and sculpt. Well, not. I'm sorry. The last tech raid, you could just about build and skull a Zealous from nothing to countermeasure Tank God for free with those tokens.
Sweet.
So I can only imagine the same amount, if not more, of those tokens are going to be in the raid. I don't
If-
know, but
Well,
I'd
if they're
like to think
pushing,
that's the
if they're
case.
pushing more of a generalist idea, then yeah, they'll put them back in again.
Yeah.
Well, also Zealous is the best tank in the game.
Plus, you got VXP weekend coming up after the raid too. So
Well, they also like VXP
I meant for
tokens
the
are
raid,
also
though.
sold in raids. So
Well,
thankfully, you might not even need that.
here's
They've
something
just
that we
so many
don't know.
points to get.
We don't know the mechanic for the next raid set, right? And if you need a tank in that raid set and it's heavy on missiles again, there's nothing unless there's something else that comes out with a duality countermeasure. There's nothing that'll beat the the Zealous. I mean, because that duality countermeasure will fire more than once at a
Yeah.
projectile.
And it gives you 10 weapons as well.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
14
4 extra
It's gonna be-
countermeasure slots. I mean,
It's going to be interesting. I don't know. I'd be torn. I mean, I have a Zealous built. It's not fully built because it was kind of like an afterthought, but it's skulled. And if I get some armor on it, it's probably going to end up, seeing more work than the gridiron, which really annoys
Yeah.
the shit out of me.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I go into the raid and I literally spent almost all my points. I spent over 70 million points on Citadel tokens and mono tokens and charged armors just to get the fleet to where it would actually perform efficiently. You know what I mean? To where the raid was actually, I'm not gonna say fun, but to where I wasn't dying on one mistake. And so I don't really want to go into a whole raid where we're supposed to be getting the next wave of raid series. I want to start doing that instantly. You know what I mean? So I really don't want to be going out and getting Zealous
Well,
tokens and all that stuff with all the
I'm-
points.
I'm kind of worried how many points we're going to need. I mean, we're going to have the next month's, the assault ship coming out, right? We don't know which one it's going to be, but it's going to be one of the two. We're going to need all those points. We're going to need all the points
be
for the
both of them.
charged armor, right? We're going to need points for the Justice.
If
I
they
mean,
lock anything
hell.
behind a generalist,
oh jeez.
I think
Yeah.
the 30.
and if you still need charged armor like I do, like I still need quite a few X armors. I don't have any X armors on my backline mono. So that's the first thing I'm gonna have to go out and get before I even start the raid again. And it's
And
like,
and they're probably going to release a corrosive charged armor too, because screw you, that's
I know.
what.
yeah, that's needed.
it's wearing on me. You know what I mean?
It's
I don't
just like they did with concussive, wasn't it? They held it back for a while and then they decided to bring concussive stuff out.
And the thing is too, the targets take so long to do no matter what.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that you're coining the repairs. Physically going through the targets is still like 10, 12 minutes for an A set if you're good.
Well, and there are gonna be two of them.
Yeah, the sizes are. Yeah.
And that's another thing I mentioned about time as well, that it's taking a lot of people who are working are not happy about that either. Obviously, but,
Well, they're
it's part
going
of
to
the game,
say
part of work, isn't it? Yeah.
they're going to say that's why they put in the blitz target, but I don't think if your game is of a poor enough quality, people aren't even going to pay to not play it. They're just going to not play it.
That's another thing I couldn't understand, Brian, as well. Why Kixeye ever brought out a blitz target? Basically, I know it was to make coin, but why are you paying someone not to play your game?
I think they were leading up to this moment.
Yep.
They were.
I think I called that the first time I ever was on the show with George, and I told him that this is what they were going to go do. They're going to make everything so fucking boring that we would fucking end up buying it.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
not that
surprised
it's
the
boring,
115s aren't blitz yet. I'm really
It's not-
surprised.
It's not that it's boring, it's that it's long. The thing is, I'm doing another thing in another game, FF15. Literally 15 minutes of kill as many things as you can. And it's 15 minutes of just like spamming buttons and looking around and doing other stuff. Like it's just 15 straight minutes of the same thing over and over. But it's engaging because there's different layers and levels of strategies. Like, I'm sure there's going to be an optimal strategy, and once I find it, I'm able to do that. I might get bored, but I might do other stuff just for fun and test scores there. Like the optimal strategy here gets boring pretty quickly, is often buggy, and the accelerate feature needs to die in multiple fires.
And you're out for 12 hours.
Yeah, if you try something different or make a mistake, then you're gone and you can't play for the rest of the day unless you spend like $1.
So here's we have a drunk Laredo on the chat now, and he initially was like, "Mark my words, we're going to need 7 digits worth of points, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, 1,000,000 points." And he goes, "No, wait, make that 10 digits. That's $1 billion."
I'm gonna say,
I think the days of the 30 million.
If we
top
need 1 billion points for the raid to get our shit, I'm gonna be pissed.
Well,
I mean-
it's been done. It's been done before, though, George. $1.5 billion points they were getting in one
no,
raids.
people are getting it for the leaderboard and for E-Team. That's different.
Man? Yeah,
As well,
that's,
so they're
that's
getting-
not.
No, if you need 1 billion points to claim all of the prizes,
That's an issue.
pitchforks and torches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about they were getting 1 billion points and already had all the prizes, but still carrying on getting points after points.
Oh no, that's leaderboard EP.
That
doesn't actually.
That's leaderboard, or they're prepping or something. I mean, that's not indicative of what the community can do. You know what I mean? And the thing that I have,
Or once
I can understand them wanting to put a premium price on the hull, right? Getting it a month ahead of time, and fine. So you get it a month ahead of time, but was it so bad when we had it set at like the Hellwraith points at 60 million? I mean, what is
Apparently it was.
Why are we
Yeah,
looking at
still-
100 and 150 million points? That's just, come on, man.
For the icebreaker, which was shit in Raid 1.
Oh man.
You had to buff it twice to make it. You had to buff it twice and like secretly reward the people that double and triple down on it and got the Visagos in Raid 2. I mean, I'm glad you catered to them, but almost nobody built that fleet. And now
How
it's
many
like
points,
They built
how
the
many
ship.
points did the S target give us last time?
3.8.
4.8, 4.9.
So
Three-
say
I thought
5.
three.
So say 5, right?
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 divided by 5. That would be what? So 1 billion points at 5 million a pop is 200 targets.
That's
right?
about right then.
And how long did it take to do that target? Say 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
On a good 10 minutes.
2,000
A good 10
minutes.
so we'll say 12 minutes, right?
Unless you're
12
using
minutes,
icebreaker.
that's 2,400 minutes divided by 60.
40
is
hours.
40 hours. That's 40 hours of playtime.
Over 6 days. That's a
40
job.
Hours of playtime, and that's if everything goes right, nothing goes wrong. You have the coin. You have the coin to fix your shit after every target, right?
Oh, you
That's not
blitzed it.
counting. That's not count. 40 hours of playtime, not counting the coin that you would have to put in to actually pull it off.
Crazy.
Okay, that's not good. That's not acceptable. This is not a game at this point. So I really hope that is not what's happening. I am praying that they look at this long and hard, because we're supposed to. I will coin if I'm having fun. If I'm not having fun, I'm not coining. I will go and play something else.
Same here. Same here.
You know, and honestly, like I said, there's so much stuff going on right now. There's a cumulative effect on the community right now that I just don't know how much more you can push. You know,
I know for a fact that my line's is spending less and less every fucking day. Every day. Because they're just tired of it. There's barely anybody on anymore. To be honest.
I mean, what I don't understand is it was going so well last year. I mean, it was going really well last year, to the point where I was almost at the point where I was like, hey, I can recommend this game to people again. Now,
same here.
It's so frustrating, and you have to have the top tech for everything, and you have to do this, and you have to do that. And the chores are time consuming and not fun, and they're punitive. So if you mess up, or if you have a lag, or if you have anything, you're screwed. I don't know. I can't put my finger on any one specific thing. I think it's just like the cumulative effect of all of it.
Yeah.
I think they've got to step back and take a look at it. I don't know what the solution would be. I really don't know what the solution would be, but I think it does have to get looked at, because it's, you know, I can tell in the people that talk to me and contact me, and like the bajillion freaking emails I get. I mean, it's getting to a tipping point, and I really am afraid of getting to that tipping point. I don't want to get there. I do not want to get there at all.
I mean, it's really sad. I bought a $25 Facebook card probably about, I don't know, well over 2 months now, and I have not even downloaded into the game, because I'm to the point where I will not give them any coin until they start fixing the shit. You know.
I mean, if I could auto like all my crap, other than the FM. I mean, I can understand the FM. You want to have some seat time in, but if I could auto all the rest of my crap, when I come on, I would not groan and go, "Oh, I need this," or "Oh, I need that." I'd be like, "Oh, hey, let me go hit somebody. Let me go help somebody." Or, "Oh," I mean, like I would be doing something that I chose, which would make it more enjoyable for me, rather than something that I feel forced into.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just so good.
And I mean, none of it's forced. I mean, look, none of it's forced. I don't have to get base parts, right? I can let it build slow time. But the problem is how far off then, or how far behind do you end up dropping doing it that way? I mean, you know what I mean? There'll
be another counter out by the time it gets.
Yeah, it just seems a little bit imbalanced. I cannot put my finger on it. And like I said, to try and get some of this from the players that have contacted me, you don't get it off the first initial message, or the initial discussion, because they're reactionary. They're pissed off about a certain specific thing until you start asking some questions, and then they're like, well, because of this, and okay, so let's follow that thread. And it's trying to unravel it is I mean, it's interesting, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if there's a simple solution that they could implement right now. I think it's something that they just have to take a look at.
So if Larry is the BP professor, is George the BP psychologist? Is he the BP therapist?
I hope not.
I hope not too. That will realize madness.
George is a super
for George.
celebrity.
For George.
He can prescribe meds then.
Oh man, if I could prescribe myself meds right now.
George would be the most fun on the show. Or he'd be like out in a club somewhere. Who knows?
I also talk with Kickstarter.
Yep. But all right, on that note, I'm going to pop off for a little bit because I have to go eat dinner. I don't know where Hefe is, but y'all have fun. I will watch it, and I'll see if I can pop on for the after show. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, if people can take a look at the overall picture, and I mean, even if they come up with some like ideas that could be discussed, go onto the crib page and put them up. Go onto TFC. Come on to the open mic tomorrow too. I mean, the open mics are where you guys come in here and tell us these things, so we're aware of it. Because there's only so many emails I can answer. I'm sorry, guys. It is. And it's the same with anybody on the panel. I mean, you can contact any of them, but at some point you guys just, there's too many. So,
Well, you think about how frustrated you are. Okay, now, and you're an advanced player. Now imagine the mid-level player or the lower-level players, how they feel.
Oh no,
Yeah,
kind of.
and they're looking at their top alliance guys looking for answers, and there is no
Yes.
answers.
That's right. That's right. So I mean, that Kickside needs to understand. Hey, you need to make it fun for everybody. You need, the advanced players, the mid-level players, the lower-level players. There has to be a balance for everybody.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, happy
pretty
medium.
simple though, isn't it? I mean, if you look back at the Scourge ride, what happened? People stopped coining, and what did Kickside do? Bingo. That's the only way Kickside will listen is with the money that doesn't go into the coffers. If everybody would stop coining for just one ride,
The what though?
things would
that
change.
won't ever happen.
No, it won't.
That won't
I
happen.
know that.
All right.
I know that. But that's the answer.
All right, I gotta go. I will
Later,
talk to you
George.
guys in a little bit.
Later. It
See you,
seems to
George.
me
Good
that,
night, guys.
it seems to me like
Later,
whenever
George.
they have an easy, like something that comes out easy, like a raid or something. It's like they always try to tax the next one. It's like
Yeah.
they're always trying to recover profit, And I don't know, man. So they
Well,
don't.
they recover by making things harder, and that's not how people spend money.
And going back to the FM, why are we not getting treasure chests out of the 113s? Why are they not dropping?
Yeah.
Do
Don't
what?
I don't like the idea.
I don't think they put them in then.
Yeah, it was just the 112s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, why aren't they dropping chests anymore? I mean, that's
People
the
rate it
top
enough to
target.
rate it. One of their main incomes now is the VXP weekend after the raid. And if you get all your VXP through those little coffers, well, then you're not going to play it on the raid weekend, on the VXP weekend, are you? So
Do you
that's
get
why they're
VXP
gone.
codes?
Well, you get the little VXP things for your monolith and for your icebreakers. Remember, in those little coffers.
Yeah, sure you do.
Okay.
Well, that was in the 112s.
Yeah.
But I think those other chests, not the daily campaign chests.
The reinforced one.
That was to force people to test out the targets for them. That was sort of like payment.
Exactly.
I wish they'd bring them back.
I wish their payment would be a better product. We do their testing, we do their math, we do a lot of their
It's all
design and
built.
development job as good or better than they do, and they still give a shit.
It would have been
This is
nice
insane.
if they paid out 120 so we could just do 3 targets and be done with it rather than have
Yeah.
to do 4 or 3.5.
It would have been nice
Well,
if they kept that 112 around as one of the targets too, because
Yeah.
it was
That
not.
we never know. That might be the 102.
I won't
You
be
know what?
surprised if they don't double it up in
That wouldn't-
next
that
year.
wouldn't-
700 million.
Brian, that wouldn't be a bad
Yeah.
do.
True,
Yeah.
Brian. Never thought of that. That's a good point.
Yeah. I think that would make some people happy
Yeah. Hell yeah.
to reduce.
At 26 million.
Well, even if they
I
reduce
don't know about that.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Maybe not 11 or whatever, like 12 times or whatever.
What was that one target we had in the raid this last raid? Was it an 85 or 86? One was a blitz and one wasn't.
84 was a blitz.
Okay, the 85 then, right?
That's a 113.
With the giant platforms with all the cold snaps and the arc and the mortar in the center. That one?
Yeah.
That was the 85.
Yeah, 85.
Okay, that might be a target coming up for the FM.
What happened to the time where they would have a raid where we hit like 5 S-sets or something, or whatever, 8 S-sets, and people would pay to fucking be done in an hour.
Yeah.
And the I knew tons of people, and then they took the coins after that and they went and burned it on the fleet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that was awesome.
Yeah, and people enjoy that concept of that, what I'm saying, being done with the raid instead of grinding. Now it's impossible. It's exactly like what George said. If you're coining, you're talking about putting 40 hours in, and it's like nobody's gonna do that shit.
No, I don't got 40 hours for this game. I got a job,
Yep.
Work
This game
weekends.
always does stuff on the week. If you work on the weekends, yeah, you're done. in this
Yeah, I work
For
on the
real.
weekends, man. So it's only late night
That's
for
me
me.
too.
I'm
Yep.
up nighttime. That's it.
Somebody's got to buy the Bats Blue.
Huh?
But you saw a lot of coining going on then. At that period of the game.
Yeah. Just to get it done fast.
Yeah, people would do it, and then they had the whole weekend. They're like, "Oh, it was well worth it." I talked to
Well, that got
plenty of people.
reincarnated in the Blitz.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say,
Yeah, but you can't do
A lot
that.
of people are doing
But
that.
you have to spend a ton of money on the Blitz, and you're only getting what? You're getting what? 600,000 or something
I think it
points
was
from it?
800.
Oh yeah, they're definitely jacking up the price for it. But that's the closest analog we have. I don't think we're ever going to go back to those days because I guess those days didn't make enough money. I don't know. Oh,
No.
I actually got to drop out and go get some food myself. I will see y'all around. Bye
Go Chinese food for a week.
Later.
Maybe just sushi for a night.
See you later, Brian.
Wow, look at that! I
See you
normally
later,
eat
Brian.
that, like fried rice and ate it for a week.
Fried trannies.
Hi, Brian.
See ya.
Later, bro.
See you,
Hey,
Brian.
the waitress is in the other door waiting for you. Just open it up. That is
Whatever that was.
So you never
Please
answered my question anyway, Hefe. What do you think will it be? The argument between you and George when it was explosive and penetrative. What do you say it's going to be now?
What are you talking? I must have been out of the room at that point.
You know, when you did them builds and you were saying that it would explosive in, you were saying it would penetrative defense, you needed more of than explosive in FM targets. And George says, no, it's explosive that you need more than penetrative and all that. What do you think it is now?
It's going to probably depend on the target. You're probably just going to want to have a well-balanced fleet, to be honest.
Yeah, MX3.
Because if you're going to want to do the S set, one of them will probably be heavy on pen, and one of them will probably be heavy on explosive. If that was I had to put a gun to my head and make a decision right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it'll probably be backline versus front line. Really depends on what you're running as well.
Yeah. Which will again
Remember when
kind of
you
force you to have
dissected
both
the
fleets.
target? I remember when you dissected the target, didn't you? And you put it down to something like 70% penetrative, 70% explosive, and 40% concussive or something like that. Almost.
Which target are you talking about?
On FM targets when they came out, I think it was the
Like the 113 or?
No, we didn't talk about the 113. I'm not sure what.
I think it was 109s. Or would it 102?
Oh, the 109s. Yeah.
It 109s, I think it was.
It'd be awesome if they brought the call arms back next week with the icebreaker tokens and Visago Punisher token or Visago icebreaker tokens and some charged armors.
Well, just so you know, Kyle, that one will still be running next week. They gave that one a
that's right,
15-day
right.
timer.
2 weeks.
Not a,
I mean, it's because that Visago Punish or icebreaker is just too long to even fuck with, you know.
yeah, I mean, it's interesting that at least I find it interesting that they seem to be throwing out the tokens for the monolith, but not for the icebreaker.
Yeah.
Last raid, they had a lot of icebreaker tokens.
Yeah, but not for the Visago. You know, that's
no,
you know,
not unless you bought that deal.
and most people at this point have a icebreaker fleet. You know, they might need a few days here and there, but I doubt most people have the Visago built. That didn't dedicate the whole time to that fleet. You know.
Yeah, but there's still unless you got the D100Vs, you know, a lot of people are probably refitting to the D100Vs, and that takes a good chunk. I mean, I was trying to figure out like, oh, what am I going to do with my 3-day and 2-day tokens?
Well, I don't like those because of the speed on them. Like, you know, I really don't like that because you're going to have mismatched all stuff or whatever, you know.
No. Well, that's the problem. You need to build them so they're matched up.
Yeah, exactly. I have a fleet, and I have 2 countermeasures on 2 of them, and on the other ones I have the 6 Vs and 2 of the S's, and they're all the same speed, 47.
Yeah,
works very well. Able to do 113s easy with them. Now that I got it down, first time around it took I think 4 hours damage. Now I'm down to like 2 hours damage doing that. They're just so
4 hours is not really that bad if you were able to.
Yeah, and I mean I could probably do 3 times and do it like 3 times.
Yeah, and that'd be fine for the FM. You know, I'd be content with that. But you know,
there's a video up on the crib.
Anybody want to talk about the bounty hunt?
No.
I don't know if I'm going to opt into that.
Yeah, there seems like there's gonna be too
Yeah.
many bugs with that shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off for a little bit and see what happens and how people like it before I just decide to do it and have no retreat button, or not retreat button, but scrap button on that.
They'll turn it exactly what they
Yeah.
do the Forsaken arena. If my opinion, that's what it's gonna end up. Whoever coins the most is gonna get the shit.
Yeah, I'm set on that.
If you opt in,
I would be more interested. Base tech have it be the megas and shit, and then let people get mega prizes. So people that are not participating that's out of the game don't have to miss out on other tech in the game. But
When is Bounty
Like-
Hunt meant to be starting? When is it meant to be?
sometime at the end of the year.
Yeah, they haven't really provided us a timeline as far as that goes. They just give us a description.
I mean, what are you going to coin your base and coin all your fleets and coin? I mean,
No, thank you.
yeah, no, thank you.
It's not really going to help you any, besides maybe you might get a PvP or a PvP, special or something that might help you out a little bit. But
Shit, I'd be fine if they just give out badges.
yeah,
Well, just think back to the Forsaken arena where it wouldn't impact either on your play, on your game.
But it did.
It
When was
did, of
that-
course it did.
And the more people fall behind, the less they care.
yeah, oh for sure. That's how I am. I mean, keep up.
I wouldn't miss a prize. I wouldn't miss a prize 3 months ago. I would not miss a prize. I would actually coin to get some of the prizes, lightly or whatever. Now I'm just past. I passed the first ship I ever passed on was the Visago, or what was the Fury, whatever the Fury was, Ferox.
Oh,
Fury.
Ferox Fury.
Yeah, I passed on that. And then I started passing on fucking armors, and then next thing you know, my fleet's behind. So now I'm passing on other shit. And, it's just
I think the Fury.
now I
was
don't care.
a pass on.
No longer a collector.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
same
I
here.
got it. I've never even used the thing in a base. So what a waste.
I never
It'd
got
be
the
cool if it
Fury.
wasn't a flag.
To this day, I still don't have a charged armor. I couldn't really care less whether I get one or not. Just kick them and get the money. That's all that is.
Yeah. Well,
They don't understand by not giving us the tools to do stuff. It's going to make people coin less.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, people need to feel like they're able to accomplish something, not just pay for it.
Exactly.
Right.
And
And it can't always be the carrot. Sometimes you got to let people's ego pay the bills. Like people will pay for the leaderboard in the raid. People will pay for the to be at the top of a board or get a certain badge. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You don't always have to give away tech. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, Rogue Cruise. We going to talk about that?
Hope for the best on that.
Yeah. It's one of those things. You're like, oh, yeah.
They've already
They
made the
really
chance
have a
to put in
chance to fuck us at this point. Is one of
Fuck
the
us or
that's one
make us
side of
flip
it.
I saw a DOS crew
What?
for 72 coins in my store the other day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I
Did
guess
you buy
what?
them all?
Hell no.
I got
I still got five. I still got 5 of them.
I got a bullseye crew for 72. And it's on your silver.
Ouch.
Yeah, I still have. I think I have 8 or 9 Deadeye. So I've been saving them since they started to be harder to get.
Well, to be honest, ever since they changed the bullseye crew, I haven't rolled for crews at all. I haven't gone out and got uranium in 2 months, so it's another part of the game I just have left behind. So,
No need to. as
Yeah,
long as you're
grease
top.
monkeys aren't bad, but
I still got like 20 of those.
Okay.
But if you don't coin, it doesn't really matter that much. So,
Well, it
Grease monkey's
does.
Not
It
really
does.
that efficient.
Well, the grease monkey is cool if like the example, like right now, if you flail on the FM, that crew works until you interrupt your dock. So let's say you have 14 hours of repairs. You slap on the grease monkey. It says it only works for an hour and a half, but you don't touch your dock. You don't interrupt that. that little lady with the blowtorch, she's
Right,
gonna
right,
work until it's done.
And I have used that like if I needed to get like a campaign done twice in a day or something, you know.
Yeah,
But that's not the real reason you use a grease monkey. Grease monkey for me is if I go into a target and the target takes like 5 minutes, and I come back out and I repair for half time, go back in, do it again, and repair for 5. You know, it's not a one repair thing. I can do that overnight. I wreck my fleet and then I'll do it overnight and don't cost me a grease monkey. You know,
I think
See,
that's
it's not,
what
it's
I'm
not that
saying
valuable
is-
when it's just
Yeah.
once.
if I'm going to use Grease Monkey, I'm going to coin some repairs on that rather than just use one repair.
Yep. Yeah, but again, I'm at the point where I have a gift card. I could spend the money. I choose not to give them the money. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not. I don't
that's
need to use my grease monkeys anymore.
No, definitely not. What a waste.
If I have a 14-hour repair, I just don't play the game for 14 hours,
Yeah. Go to bed. Come back after work.
and then your base is hit.
Ah.
Yeah, your dock's been down. You haven't been repairing.
That was one great thing I have to give them though. That dock repair was fucking awesome. If the shipyard did the same thing, I think that it would make the game a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, and we were talking a little bit on the Wednesday show as far as your turrets and whatnot, especially with the bounty hunt thing that's coming up, as far as lessening the time that it takes for turrets to repair or have upgrades or whatnot continue during that repair time. You know, that would be.
Nice.
Yeah, that would actually be a really cool prize if the bounties, like we were talking about the prizes, instead of releasing tech, if they just release like building repair tokens and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be cool because then you could play all month, repair all your turrets. You know what I'm saying? While you're going out smashing at a war.
Yeah.
And that's something that you wouldn't have to have people fall behind on prizes, but
Yeah.
people would definitely go out and get those tokens because then they could stay in the game longer on the PvP side throughout the months. That would be cool.
Isn't that what repair tokens are for, though?
Yeah, but they're only giving out you do the little campaigns and you're getting like 1 hour, so basically it's only good for your dock. I'm talking about getting like a 16-hour repair structure token that and getting a whole bunch of them. That way you can repair all your turrets and you can go back out and hit somebody's base.
Yeah.
You can pop your bubble and go. You know what I mean?
If they were going to do that, though, they might as well give you a token just to say, "Is repair your base? Hit this token."
Well, that'd be fine too. I think that would be a great way that they could get people involved in that tournament and involved in PvP the rest of the month without having to release tech.
Yeah. That's a good one. I would like that. Give you a base repair token that just totally repairs your base, not your guard. Your
Like
base.
49. Is it 49
Oh,
coin?
I love those little hour ones. Those little hour ones are good.
Yep.
Yeah,
'Cause,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I use those 1 hours a lot on my dock. Wherever if I'm like in a TLC
Yeah.
and I get my base hit while I'm doing a TLC.
Yeah.
Those things are pretty good. So if you applied that model to a bigger with all your buildings, people would pop their bubble a lot more and go out and hit more bases.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many times have let's for everybody, whoever's a base hitter here, like how many times have you decided not to go out and hit a base because your bases, all your turrets were completely dead?
I'm one.
That's when you're the base to a deer anyway.
Yeah, but you would coin your fleet. You would
until they're all repaired.
Yep, you would coin your fleet and go right back out if your turrets, if you could auto repair your turrets with like a token or something, right?
Yeah, I think
It don't
I think
matter
that
to
would
me.
happen. And also, like even just, I think there's a large part of the community that doesn't even participate in PvP because if you hit somebody, even if they come in and fail, you're still, you're still behind. Even if they fail, if you're upgrading something or doing
Right,
researching
but everything
something.
else repairs instantly, so it's not that big of a deal. If you're
Yeah,
on,
well,
if you're
unless
on.
you're like unless you're like equipping or upgrading a turret.
Right.
Yeah. But what I'm saying,
8 hours or so dirty on even ship builds and stuff.
no, not on ship builds unless you're sleeping too long.
I don't
Because
really
the
care.
ship builds that happens pretty quickly.
Yeah,
I really don't
couple
care if I
seconds.
get my turrets hit or anything because to me it's a long term game. You know what I mean? The
I mean,
building of the
you'll
building.
get hit 10 minutes after you go to bed though, and you can't start any repairs. You get up next morning and you still got to start them repairs. You've lost 8 hours worth of ship build.
No,
But don't
that's not
sleep
really-
so long,
that's-
Daddy.
that's not really the problem, though. I mean, I love hitting bases, but I've got 6 rounds. Sorry, if you count it properly, it's 8 rounds of the FM to do.
Yep.
I've got I don't know how many TLCs to do. If I want Uranus, I'll have to go hit Uranus. If I want base part, I have to get that. If I want Titanicals to fit for my mega ship, I have to go get that. When am I going to hit a base? I don't care whether my base is flat all the time. It doesn't
Well,
bother
there's that
me.
vault thing
I just
coming out
don't have
now.
the time. There's not enough time to hit a base, and that's the most fun aspect of the game is to hit another player. But you can't do it because all this
That's
PvP.
why George said
PvP,
always is
sorry.
stressed that if you could auto targets,
Yeah.
you know, then that's what makes those chores not a chore anymore.
Well, I can actually auto nearly every target on map, but the problem is they keep changing them. Now I can't auto them again.
Yeah, and a lot of the targets are built not to be autoed at this point.
Right. So they've shot themselves in the shoe because if they want to get people involved in PvP, like they were saying, the Professor and Price and all those guys at the town hall, they got to lower the cost. They got to fucking find a way to fucking make it more of an enjoyable thing, and you don't do that by adding more and more chores in. So they got to decide: do they want to make more money off of chores and have PvP suffer, or do they want to make money off the PvP and take less profit off of the PvE side? Because people are not going to pay for both. I mean, you might find that 1 to 5% that will, but
it's pissing me off that they're forcing you to have PvP stuff as well in PvE targets. That's the most annoying thing to me. Is that?
Yeah, I don't. Well, yes and no. I do. It forces you. It does exactly what they want to do. They want you to build at least one hole of all the conquering stuff, and that's what I pretty much have done. And sometimes I don't go back to it, and I got a bunch of holes that I'll never get back to. Like I built 2 sloths. I'll probably never go back and work on those. Does that make sense? But at least I have them in case of a TLC.
I've probably got
comes
as
out
many
that I need
conqueror holes as what I think I'm going to get. To be honest.
The thing is, though, why do we need a precision hull, an auto hull, and a generalist every raid? Why? Why can't we just have the hull that's going to do the raid? You get that in one raid or 1 week or whatnot. Then the next week you get a special for it. So the week after you get a weapon for it. You know, do something like or the raid after, so that you slowly get that hull together, and then you can have it for the raid. Why do we have to have every raid 3 hulls? Why?
There's only 3-month cycles.
Well, and then they lock them all behind each other. They lock them all too, to where you have to fucking get the 3rd rate to get the 2nd rate to get the 1st rate.
Multi-million points.
And it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, this is why I had such a problem with the charged armor, and I've not steered away from it. And I told y'all a while ago, if that fucking things would have been broke, it would have been the best thing for the game, because it doesn't even matter if you have a gridiron fleet. If you don't have the charged armors on it, you're not going to have an enjoyable fucking experience.
No, very expensive.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter if you have all the holes and all the weapons and all this stuff. Now you got to go out and get another fucking component.
Yeah, you're going to take the image regardless anyway, because they're going to outrange you.
So you can call it a 160 million hole, but it's really more like a 360 million point hole.
To do a 113 for me without charged armors is between 3 and 4.5 hours repair. That's with monolith and gridiron.
Yeah.
But how many have you done at this point, Toxic? I think you'll get better at it.
Yeah,
I've done 4.
Okay. I'm thinking you're gonna. I mean, I'm guessing that you're gonna get better at it and trim that time down. But yeah, there's an issue there. But I think this is a new target, and I think between videos and your own experience, I think you'll improve on that. Because a lot of people haven't, you've hit 4 or 5, so that's a fair amount. But I think you'll get, just seeing like my own learning curve with some of these targets.
But
I've seen it down to as low as 26 minutes now. Repair for
not without charged armors. You have to have charged armors on that.
Yeah, if you see, that's the thing. You could put charged armor on a Tideseeker and probably get it to outperform a gridiron without the charged armors.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's not right when the armor is more valuable than
Are you only putting charge armors on the tank, or are you putting them on the mortar flingers as well?
No, you need them on your back ones too.
All the way around.
Why?
I've got it
So-
down about 10 minutes of damage.
Well, if your ships are intended to be hit as the back line, why put
But they
armor on
do.
them?
They
They're
do.
still
do that.
going to get through. Some are going to get through, and the cold snaps are still going to splash out the back line.
Mm.
And,
Well,
and now that
In the
that
thingy,
Kicks
Go on.
basically admits now that the 113s are too hard because people are rimming them, and now they're putting a timer on it. So not only going to be rimming, put the timer on, but I'll bet you any money that most of the points are going to be put to the middle, not around the outside.
Yeah.
You can probably
I
rim
think it
that
could
for
be
like
that
20
way. I
million
mean,
points.
if people are rimming them, getting the 90 mil on the outside, and then it's only 21 in the inside, it's harder to get in the inside. It should be more money, more points in the inside. So
But then you want
that shrouded area, you can
Yeah.
actually remote target that without going through them turrets. A lot of people don't know that,
yeah,
and they need telling because it does. You can actually get remote targeting on it.
yeah,
You don't need to go through the the Crowder rockets.
yeah. If you're fast enough, it's not a problem. I don't get touched at all going by them.
Moving.
Hopefully.
It's the idea. Yeah.
One thing they
I'm
could
doing
have done
it
with the Gridiron is exactly what they did with the Cannoneer. The reason why the Cannoneer completely outperformed the Ironclad was because they outranged them. If they would have stuck with that concept of having the premium hull, the go-to hull having slightly more range than the slight whatever you would call the auto hull,
Yeah,
then that right there would have solved all the fucking problems. You know what I mean? To where you could have just had the punitive damage in there, but you're outranging it with the premier tank.
yeah.
But they didn't do that. They completely did not understand why the Cannoneers were successful versus the Ironclads being unsuccessful.
Well, I don't actually get where the auto hull came from because it used to be the auto hull with a blitz hull
Mhm.
that could do, like ballistic.
Yeah,
damage.
that should be the premium hull, the blitz hull that you can sit there and fucking go in and.
Because
Well,
the
through
kiting
shit.
used to
Click
be
the back and
missiles,
go.
didn't it, and mortars.
I
Launches.
would much rather take damage and get a raid done in a day, with 10 hours worth of playing, over a course of 6 days.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'd much rather do that and pay
Yeah.
and pay a small price
Oh yeah,
than to
I'll
fucking
pay
sit there and grind up.
$5-10 just to get it done quick.
Yeah.
Rather than all weekend, I don't have time to do that.
That's how it used to be. And
Yeah.
it worked great.
And people
But,
were happier than.
I'm not gonna spend $50 on blitzes just to get it done. So it's just a little ridiculous when you can do the blitz target for 1 coin, but it charges you 5 for the blitz. That's kind of a kick.
That's
in
what I
teeth.
don't understand, though. That's basically
And people
saying,
people actually liked the
I'm
blitz
gonna
in my
pay
last
you to play
the first raid. They liked it, and then
I'm
they
not
upped the
gonna
fucking. Then they upped it. And they gave you less points and it cost more money.
Yeah,
And people were just like, "Fuck you,"
exactly. Well, it's too much of a
Because
good
it
thing
also
the first time.
I think it also removes the ability to do the target well in order to blitz it because the cost is so high that any Yahoo can go through and
Yeah, just
hit the target.
just go
And if you hit it for because I've been hitting
5 or less.
I've been hitting the 102s in the FM because I got icebreakers and it's instant repair.
Yeah.
So repair free or spend umpteen coins. Yeah, it's
or umpteen hours fucking driving.
Yeah.
it's
it comes down to it, isn't it? It's your
So
driving
Hellwraith was
compared to how much
definitely-
it costs.
If you could use Hellrace efficiently, they would be a better fucking fleet. But you can use Tideseekers and be more efficient, even though you're guaranteed to take damage. And people would hand over fist almost always go with the Tideseekers, right?
I don't know. I go with the subs just because I don't take damage with the subs. Tideseeker, you're going to take a little bit of damage.
Yeah, but if you were gonna grind all weekend would you rather have the Tideseekers or drive the Hellrace?
Because that blood
Combination, I guess.
No, I think what Raptor would do, he'd start with Hellrace, and then on the Blast Blue number 7, he'd lose them. Then he'd go to the Tideseekers.
Yeah,
and
right.
repair them both overnight, correct?
No.
You couldn't repair
Hellrace the whole time.
You couldn't repair them both
Like
over.
I did.
Okay.
You couldn't repair them overnight though.
For free.
Because it's two different. Because well, no, you can't though. If you're using two different fleets, you only got so many spots that you can repair at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, you need to repair your subs first, yeah, because you can't launch them.
Don't lose the subs.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
lose the
I didn't.
subs.
I didn't lose the sub.
I never got any damage in that.
But you also couldn't. You also could not really make it through all those fucking encounters with an hour time limit either with the subs.
Mhm.
Yeah,
you needed to
yeah,
have
that was a
both
pretty. That was a pretty big issue with them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, people in my lines had hell race and they cannot do that. And it's not that they couldn't drive. It was like nobody could fucking do it in the hour.
I did it.
You
had to
you
use
had
a
to
crew.
be ballsy. Yeah, you had to be ballsy and take a lot of chances.
Yeah, you had to use a crew too. Also, the
Yeah.
critical chance crew there for subs.
Yeah.
Really good. A little bit faster combat speed, a little more damage, critical hit damage.
Yeah.
Carried it along. You could get it. You could kill one of them ships on the sides without surfacing. One shot. So not bad. It made for a good video. That was a good one. I have a lot of shitty ones, but I have some good ones.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the hell rate, but see, that gives you the option. See, the way the styles since that came out, the styles have not worked like that. You know what I mean? It's because people were extremely happy with the Tide Seekers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Extremely. I think it's still one of my favorite. I think it's probably the last ship I had really enjoyed.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was a lazy fucking
Mhm.
hole. You
Yeah,
know?
basically like an auto thing.
Yeah, it was cool. So that to me, that should have been the premium hole.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you could do it free with the skill hole.
Yeah.
To me, Hellrace, and you would still probably build both of them. That's the key. But you would enjoy building both of them, so you could play different game styles. This way, it's forcing you to build both of the fleets because you don't know which one's going to be effective at all.
Mm-hmm.
And both fleets. You mean all three fleets? Generalist as well.
Yeah. You don't need generalists if you have the other two.
Yeah.
Well, generalists working better than the
I'm
premium
pretty
models,
sure
aren't they?
But there was no way. There was no way to know that until they fucking released that heavy mortar.
No,
and
when
nobody knew that there was going to be this stupid fucking monolith fucking.
Yeah, but when you looked at all
feature.
reloads on generalist, you knew it were going to be used all year round.
You're not going to be able to use that fleet all year round. You're gonna. What if you're gonna? So say the generalist fleet, you're going to want to refit them for this assault, right? That's the whole idea of the generalist. Then what are you going to use for your FM fleet?
Exactly.
That's why I never went down that route because I'm like, why would I keep on refitting?
Yeah.
When that tour is not going to go away.
Isn't there a new generalist coming out for the next ride? I thought there was.
But it's not a generalist.
They haven't announced one.
Zealous, don't you?
We don't know.
They haven't announced one. Toxic. They've only mentioned the Phoenix and the Skyfire as far as the.
What they'll probably do is I would be willing to bet that they're going to keep the Empyrean, right? And the Empyrean will be the whole. You'll refit it to missiles. You'll have a flagship that comes out like that will replace the MX Prime, and that's what they'll do for each cycle. They'll just release just the flagship. But the problem is, again, if you refit to the assault, right, then you're not going to have the fleet for the FM. So it's not a generalist fleet.
It's going to be a tank, so you could just make two Zealous as tanks, different tanks, one for missiles and one for missile explosives.
I understand that, but you're going to be using mortars on assaults. I don't think so.
No, missiles behind it.
Right, so you're going to have to refit all your Empyreans.
No.
Or
well,
those new ones.
No,
Or build new ones.
Yeah, well, there is other ships that you can use, like the Apollo.
No, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about generalist holes and how it's completely not what they said it was.
Yeah.
It might be the most effective in this raid set, and that's not the issue either. What I'm saying is, you can't refit this fucking ship to do assault next time around because then you won't have an FM fleet if that's what you built.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have to come out with a flag, that specializes in penetrative.
Well, and that's fine either too. I mean, you can build the Empyrean just as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I still think they're gonna come out with another generalist. I'm pretty. I would almost bet something on it, a coin.
I bet it's a flag
with a missile.
Yeah, I think it'll be a flag. I think it'll.
you might be able to get the Zealous's, the ballistic Zealous's with that new flag. They might do well.
Mm-hmm.
God knows.
Right. I think you'll keep the Zealous the same you'll have a different flag. You know, you'll build your Zealous basically to be a countermeasure ship, you know, which will work for the most part in all those, you know, anything that has explosive or missiles, which is pretty much every raid cycle almost, you know, outside of ballistic. So, you know, and then the weapons will change on it to, you know, give the bonuses to wherever, you know, they'll add the 5%, whatever corrosive and 5% missile, you know, so then you just swap out those missiles on the Imperians, you know, be basically the same fleet.
Yeah.
But the problem is, again, you're talking about refitting, and then you won't have the fleet for the FM, assuming that you didn't build the Icebreakers or the Monos.
You'll just have to build a different one for that specific raid.
Which might be the real hidden agenda behind them, given the way the so many monolith tokens. You know, fortunately, you know, given now the people that went that direction, they'll have the mono fleet for the FM, and then they'll be able to swap that fleet out. So
That's what we've always done that throughout the game, though, haven't we?
Not since we've had specialized. No.
Well, I have. I've always refit me tanks, refit me ships to do what I need to do during what I need to do. Really, I can't get the loads of hulls like you're all talking about. I'm way behind on hulls.
Well, you didn't rebuild a fleet for the skirmisher raid, right? You didn't do a tank for that. You didn't refitting for that thing, did you?
Which skirmisher raid?
The legions.
Or
I'm sorry, the Reavers.
The Reavers.
Cannoneer and stuff.
No, I only had one ironclad and one cannoneer when that raid was done.
Well, that's my point. Is, you know, you either had Hellraiser or you had TIE Stickers. There wasn't any other.
Yeah.
So, you know, you haven't had to refit in a long time, to be honest. You're better off always building. You know.
Although I did see half AUs in Ghost Crawler one time.
Yeah.
Bill, it's supposed to be less build time when you refit the generalists, though, isn't it? That's why they actually came out.
But it's not.
No, it seems like it's increased.
And they have worse repair efficiencies.
Yeah.
There's no reason that it should outperform.
No.
You know, but they just kept on bringing out more and more weapons. Like once they released that fucking thing, was it 3 days to put on that fucking mortar?
Yeah, the heavy mort there.
Yeah, good luck. You're gonna have to take all that shit off now and put a heavy missile on.
Yeah, you got to refit the whole fleet just to fit it. I don't have one, but I heard plenty about that, so glad I didn't build it.
I wish I built it. I wish I would have known that the monolith was going to be such a fucking pain in the ass to drive. I wish I would have known that the Icebreakers would be so fucking, you know, weak to drive, you know, or taxing to drive. So, you know, I don't know. It's just one of those things.
Yep.
We always adapt, you know, but
yes, in game.
We always adapt, but it's becoming more and more annoying. I think it's the best word. Everything in the game has become annoying now.
Yeah, a lot of chores. Chores. I'm still working on mine, you know. It's Friday night. Used to be done Wednesday.
I haven't even done in-game yet. I haven't even started it. Still got half an FM to do too.
Let's talk about endgame. Endgame. That's the one. What fleets are you guys using for all that? What?
Apollos work great. 1 through 3 and libs for 4, 5.
Yeah, I think that's what I did on the first time.
Real quick repairs on that. Just get your bloodthirst on the bases. Go around the base first with your libs, and pretty quick.
So that is what everybody uses. I mean, that's what I used, but I was just wondering.
If I remember that one right, I haven't, like I said, I haven't gone to. I think I just basically click the back of the base with Liberator shot.
Yeah, exactly. Just click and go.
I don't even know if they turned up the damage though.
Yeah, I tried Prides and that didn't work out too well on number 4, so I'm not going to do that again. I mean, I did it. I was able to do it, but I lost Pride, so I'm not too impressed.
Yeah, and you lose one Pride and then the rest of them become weaker.
The prides worked good on the Alpha Behemoth one there, the Harlock one. Worked great.
I remember that being a pretty easy campaign, but I can't remember if I used Bullseye during it.
Yeah. Pretty easy pride. That last one, you gotta kind of sub out them, what are they, Valiants there. They're pretty rugged. They take corrosive damage pretty well, so I don't advise using prides on that. But
Well, if you could put some survivors in just as blank shells.
yeah, survivor. I think ballistic works really good on them too. I noticed. Yes.
If you get those survivors are actually really good sport ships.
Yeah.
Like even if you have blank holes, like
I have 3 of them. I have 4 cannons on them. I mean, fitted specials on them yet, so I'm kind of waiting.
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting too.
Yeah, I don't want to fit them and then have to pull shit off and put new stuff on. So
Isn't that terrible though? Isn't it terrible that we feel that way? Like we'd rather not even use the tokens, like because we don't know what.
Exactly.
You're basically just penalizing yourself at that point.
Yeah. I hate wasting.
I just built the oppressors during that campaign because I knew I started looking at their deflection numbers. And if you put what I did is I just had what was it? Basically like 1 pride, but it was taking quite a bit of damage from like the corrosive turrets and shit. But I just put a couple survivors in there, and then you can just walk right through.
Oh yeah.
We should be in the dark up to a certain point, with all these builds. We shouldn't know exactly what we should be defending against, but they just don't tell us anything.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it sucks. They took that work in progress out.
Yeah,
I really loved it.
Oh, bring back the whip.
Yeah.
Whip.
Well,
But they didn't do that last year. Last year, they told us
That's why they
what
took it away.
what we needed, what was coming up, and everybody was happy.
Well, they told us what to build Toxic, but it never worked.
Yeah, or at least
No,
something
last year it wasn't.
to build off from.
I mean, it just sucks. I mean,
crazy.
it just sucks. So everybody's probably going to put the fucking cannons and stuff on our specials, and then the next set we have will probably be something that's going to replace all the stuff that we just put on. You know what I mean?
Just put specials and do your VXP, then put your armor on, and then find what weapon you need and put that on.
Well, the problem is it's a 6-day token though, G Daddy.
You say that again?
So you can't just a token. So you pretty much have to build half of the whole right then and there.
Well, all specials cover that.
But I agree with Kyle as far as I think one of the points he was making was the fact that the people that they're trying to attract with this stuff, that want to coin this thing and that thing, are feeling more and more burned by the fact that they go ahead and coin what's supposed to be the most attractive thing there, and they coin it, and then they have to pay a penalty to take it off and coin something new on it, and it sort of becomes buyer's remorse. And
absolutely,
because A, you already spent the money, and B, you got to pay it to take it off. It's sort of I'm not sure who on the panel's ever got breast implants, but if you go too large at the beginning, you may want and then you gotta pay to get them taken out after 10 years. I don't know. I'm looking through the panel.
Well, I don't know. You seem like you know an awful lot about that, Hefe.
Yeah, I haven't got them myself. I'm familiar with them, but
no, maybe not boobs, but moobs might be.
No.
Well, along that line, I once knew a guy who paid for a girl to get her boobs, and then she left them because her boobs were bigger and she was more attractive.
Yeah, well,
that's kind of a good analogy right there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now you need to take them off. You got to pay to take them, or for her, you got to pay to take them off and change them up. So it's. But you didn't know that, which one came first? Silicon came first, and then it was saline. You want to. That's what we're getting all the time. Yeah, the gummy bears. So yeah.
Yeah, you're right. The silicones weren't any good, so now you have to switch to the saline.
Yeah.
That's right.
Cost even more money now.
Yeah. So,
wonder what,
but yeah, you
wonder
had to
what
pay
kind
to
of-
take them out and put the new one in. Yeah, it's
I wonder what Greta's tits are gonna look like now that she's all bionic.
yeah. They might have turrets at the end. I don't know. Little machine guns. Has anybody read through? I can't. I find that too
No.
long to read through.
No.
Yeah. I was just wondering who was reading through all that stuff because it
It's
is
silly.
long.
It's so
it's
silly they
long
put this
and
much effort into it.
Yeah, if they made a little video and they read it, it would be funny if it was like, GDR played Greta and then, somebody else played Visago or whoever, and they made a little. They wouldn't have to get on camera, but it would be amusing. I would listen the hell out of that. We would play that as probably the intro to the show. If they both read that, that would be hilarious.
We need to.
It's sort of like a work in
we need to.
progress, though, isn't it?
What?
No.
It's sort of like a work in progress in a way. They're literally telling us over the next few months what they're doing.
Yeah, but it doesn't. We've yet to see it actually impact gameplay.
Yeah.
The work in
I
progress
don't actually
impacted
care about what.
gameplay.
I don't care
The
about
other
what they
doesn't
tell
really-
me anymore because what they tell me is not fucking.
Yeah, but
You're
say
better
they want
off
to get
seeing the
rid of
target
it
for yourself.
and do a
Doesn't match. Yeah.
full scale essay like that, you know what I mean?
Roger Bell, grammar check that thing.
Yeah. That will be something. But let's see. Is there any topics that we've missed at this point that we may want to cover?
Well, maybe we want to
does
talk
anybody
about.
have any- Go ahead.
Yeah, alpha. Maybe some things for the Harlock Alpha, mixed weapons versus all throwers, or anybody like stuff they can hit underwater, or
Yeah, I mean, personally myself, I don't worry that ship can hit something underwater, but it can see something, and I'll have my Venom or my 99 or whatever, something that's actually going to be more powerful in position to do that.
so you think all throwers would be the most successful then?
No. Because unless anybody's done a lot of experimentation with it, do you need more than one of the throwers to get the accuracy debuff? Does it matter if you have 3, 4, 5? I mean, is there a chance if you have it on the Harlock Alpha, does it make more sense to just put one on? I don't know. With the way things are going,
Well,
and
the majority of the damage calls from minimum damage if they have a rat plate on.
Yeah, but I consider with that thrower the big thing is the 50% accuracy debuff that comes with it. But right now I have, because of the decelerate cannon and the inherent UAV buffs, I've actually been using the cesiums, even though I hate the fact that they're so graphically glitched in the game that you can't really tell what they're actually doing. But as far as surface ships, because you got to assume that surface ship, they're going to take care of this muddle missile thing. But what I'm saying is with that thermal range, if you have a couple turrets that are doing splash and submerge damage, you don't really need to have the submerge damage on the hull itself, unless somebody can tell me why you do. Use the.
Well, I would think there might be a reason for that, because if everybody's running siege battery or some form of siege battery, then you're knocking off 50% of your damage right there. Whereas if you're hitting it with the ship, 100% of that.
Yeah,
well, wouldn't you just put hydrodynamic shells on it though for hitting explosives underwater?
Yeah.
What are you putting on that's explosive? Like, are you putting rockets on it or something? I'm not sure.
Maybe a lockdown rocket to slow the ships coming through the channel.
Yeah, but that's yeah.
Yeah, locked in.
I was thinking more like missiles, like Scorias or something. And I'm probably gonna wait till the next before I finish it up. I'm probably gonna just wait till the new missile comes out.
Yeah, there will be a new missile coming out with the
Yeah, definitely.
and a new UAV.
One thing I have heard. One thing I don't know if y'all mentioned this on the Wednesday show, but it's critical to have as much pinch resistance on that ship because it loses all of its attributes if it's pinched. Like the rest of all your guard fleet that gets all the buffs will lose all those buffs if it's pinched. So you definitely want to have a significant amount of pinch resistance. So like agility 4 or some pinch plates.
Shielded electronics.
Electronics, yeah. That's something I've heard a lot of people say is very important.
Oh, is it shielded electronics or shielded tactical systems? Shielded tactical in it.
No, tactical field. That's if you're going through like a glacial thing.
Right. Yeah. For ice.
Yeah, They keep on calling them. I got upset when they keep on calling them fire fields, no matter.
Yeah,
but they got rid of that.
Fire field and ice field, isn't it? It should be. Really.
Well, fire field is also an ice field, and I think they've worked through that and become less apparent that's because I don't know.
One thing I was looking at. You know a lot more about this, Matt. The flash it reloader. Is that going to be that effective with the amount of the salvo? How that reloads?
Flechette feeder, that one.
Yeah, it's 50% reload.
As far as putting it on like your icebreaker?
No, as far as putting it on the Alpha, the Harlock Alpha.
Well, I think it would probably be efficient on there because it doesn't have an inherent rocket reload, correct?
No. I'm talking about the throwers with the flashette feeder, which gives 50% reload on radioactive weapons.
That's a good question.
And so, I know you guys talk all the time about how with the minimum, with as many salvos as that putting out, is it actually efficient to raise your reload?
Yeah, I'd have to look at that. I'm not going to say off the top of my head.
Yeah, I was looking at that when I was trying to decide.
So much crap comes out in the game. It's all the combinations are difficult to.
Is it radioactive damage though, or is it radioactive weapon?
It's radioactive. So throwers are radioactive weapons. So yes, it's effective.
You say throwers are just throwers, though, aren't they? Or not?
Yeah, throwers are slag weapons, though, aren't they? They're not the radioactive.
Well, it's like launcher is called a launcher, but it's still a radioactive weapon.
Yeah, all the launchers are radioactive. Also, all the throwers are radioactive.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if that 50% reload, if you're like you said, if it's reloading before it gets to the end of the cycle anyway, it's a waste of special. But I don't know. I'm trying to decide how to build mine right now.
That's a good question. Almost sounds like it's just for launchers, but I don't know.
Yeah, because it's got what's the salvo on it? If it's like because you gotta add
23 or something, isn't it?
I think it was 20 was the high number I was going to run with.
Yeah, it's right on there.
I think it's 20.
Also, yeah, if it's 20, so you're going to have 20 times 0.2 seconds. So 4 seconds, right? Of just in the salvo.
Yeah,
part
4 seconds. Yeah.
Well, -1, so yeah, 3.8 because the formula is salvo -1 because the first salvo doesn't cost you anything because it's like everything else. But yeah, so it'd be 3.8 seconds. So that's going to slow down your reload. That's going to interact with your reload pretty significantly. So it's a different component, so it's not impacting your reload. Your reload's still going to happen, but then you're going to have to wait for 3.8 seconds anyways, no matter what you do to your reload. And then decide whether you're going to be dead at that point or not.
Well, no, that the Harlock will be alive when your base is dead.
Yeah. So, well, anything else that we need to cover on the live show? anything on the TLCs or, well, you know, remind everybody, if you have muddle gluts, Alpha Defense is, you know, there's no reason not to do it. It takes next to no time. You're not going to take any damage as long as you drive halfway decently.
God, I was just letting them. I was letting them surface. They still weren't taking any damage from anything.
Okay.
So I don't even think you need necessarily the muddle gluts, to be honest with you.
Nice.
I had one muddle glut with a Savage backing, and you know, I didn't even. I basically could have just let it auto because every time it surfaced, it got hit by a bunch of shit, but it didn't actually do much damage. So I don't think that the damage levels are very high in that thing.
Yeah, because I surfaced once and it was still instant repair on the map.
Nice.
You would, you know, and that thing doesn't have very much deflection. It's only like 500 on each thing. So I mean, you might be able to do that with like anything that has over like 500 plus deflection across the board.
Yeah, they want you to own that Harlock Alpha. So
yeah, like I'm thinking maybe even Punishers or something could get through there with some coins. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but you know.
Well, they got
It could
500.
be, could be.
They have 500 Assault and Siege, right?
Yeah.
So if you could prep out the stuff with using extra range, you know, maybe not just the Punisher, but you know, you might be able to just take out the base and stuff. You can take out the ships with like something that has more range.
Yeah, and then Call to Arms. You know, you're getting a ton of monolith tokens. You can get, if you can just make it through Prize Pack 3, you got a month of them. If you want to refit to the D85D, or you just got them new or whatever, you know, if you're willing to spend a little bit of coin and having some issues with this,
and don't just burn them either. Like save them.
Yeah.
Save some of those tokens too, because you never know after this rate set they might just be giving those fucking armors out, and they're a long reset.
Yeah.
You know, if you got D5 armors, and then you want to replace those with charged armors, you're probably looking at like 4 days a pop on each ship.
Nice.
Don't just use them. I'd go into the raid. My suggestion would be go into the raid with what you got. You know, instead of putting all the new mortars and all that stuff on there, go in there see what you can do. If you have to refit to the mortars, you can do that on the fly. And if you don't need them, the difference, if you're actually being successful in the raid, take those tokens, roll them over to the next month. They might put out those armors. So, you know, at a very cheap price in a TLC or something, because they want people to do the FM. I just think they don't want people to have a free raid. So that's why they've made them so hard to get. But I think they're going to, you know what I mean? By the time this raid set's over, I think that that price will come down significantly.
okay.
Hold on to those tokens.
Yeah. And along with, it'd be curious to see if they eventually offer the icebreaker tokens in such mass quantities, but I don't know that that's going to happen. Maybe this is why this is the preferred haul, because you get all these fucking tokens.
Freebies.
You know what I mean?
Probably. It's either coin out your ass for the icebreaker or get your freebies at a late time.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that did kicks out. You know, I bash them a lot, but you know, I got to give them mad props for tokens down on the gridiron to 10 1 day tokens opposed to that 20-day token. That was kind of slapping my face personally.
Yeah. I was tempted to get it just to see if I didn't, but I was tempted to get the 20-day just in case they released a second one, but I never.
I did because it was free to do the campaign. So
yeah, I ran. I mean, I was busy, really busy, so I didn't have time to deal with it.
and I wouldn't be surprised if they.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they let us have another one after this raid set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for the FM, I could see that. I mean, that's, you know, I'm building a Zealous. I think it's pretty well ranked, but yeah, as far as the second tank, you know, I could see that. It makes sense. It's sort of odd that they make a limited one of one ship to be your tank.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they try to do that with the Harlock Citadel.
Versus the Zealous that's in tier 2 that fucking is outperforming it.
Yeah, but if you read the description on the Harlock Citadel, that was supposed to be a tank.
Because of the
You know,
countermeasure on
too
it.
fucking slow to
Durability.
get that done. But yeah, if you read the flavor text, as we've been calling it, that's it was supposed to, the Harlock Citadel was supposed to be a tank, which is never happened.
Yeah. Use it as a tank.
No, nobody used it as a tank.
I'd say, really, honestly, outside of the built-in countermeasure, almost better off with 5 monos and having one of them. You know what I mean? You're not getting any of the bonus effects from the when you're stacking them. So
Yeah, unless you're behind.
Yeah. I was going to do a whole thing about what's the guy's name? Edward? No. Well, the designer of the Fort Pinto. Well, let me start with the beginning. I didn't actually do it, but you know that the the War Commander, they hired like the designer of Command and Conquer. You know that game? No? Yes? No?
no,
Not really.
I mean, I don't know.
Anybody
too
heard
much
of Command and
about it.
Conquer? Red Alert, all that. They hired that guy to do one of them. And then I was going to make a joke tonight that they hired the engineer that designed the Fort Pinto to design the monolith for everybody. But I wasn't sure how many people would understand what I was talking about. But
Wasn't the Ford Pinto, it had like the gas tank in the back, and if you got hit in the back, it blew up or something?
yeah. That was it. Yeah. Yeah. So I was going to bring that up, but
What you're trying to say is that the Pinto was Kick's design, was it?
No, I'm saying that like on Command and Conquer was a very cool game. I bought about 6 of them. I loved that game.
Yeah.
It was semi-similar. It was it was a strategy. It was sort of similar as far as gameplay to this, but War Commander hired that person.
More War Commander-ish though, wasn't it?
What?
It was more War Commander-ish though.
Well, that's what they hired. That was, but it was closer to that. But that's who they hired, the Command and Conquer guy, to do the War Commander Rogue Assault, the new one.
Right.
But then they hired they put out the big bucks to get the engineer that designed the Pinto to design the monolith for us. Yeah. So I'm not. I didn't bring it up earlier in the show because I thought it might take too much explaining, which it seemed it did.
Which it did then.
Too late for that.
Yeah. So, oh well.
I know what you meant.
Okay, I'm ready. But is there anything else that we should cover while we're still on the air? I'm sure maybe some other people will join us off air that are afraid of Raptor.
Well, they probably don't care, but we need more communication between Kickside and community.
Yeah, or at least more honest communication.
We need more Kickside police actually playing the game with their own money. That's what we need. It wouldn't be so expensive.
Yeah. That would be well, but we don't know how much money they're all making. But yeah,
Too much.
Well,
Yeah, but would you let them start
Don't
from
even
level,
ask. They're making too much.
would you let them start from level 1 though, Toxic, or would you give them some coin at least to catch up?
Why would I need coin? Did you get coin?
Exactly. But they'll be miles behind and won't be doing any targets anyway. That's like giving you a level 1 base on preview server, you know what I mean?
So anything else? I was going to wind it down. We've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
I was going to say, late show.
Nearly a new record.
No, that's far from record. People used to complain if we didn't go at least 2 hours, so it's not a new record. I think the record was somewhere over 3 hours on a raid weekend.
I think you fell asleep one time. Me and Toxic were still going.
Well, it might have been the after show. I tend to keep the
Yeah.
I tend to keep paying attention during the live broadcast. So, well, if nobody has any parting words, I think I'm going to stop the broadcast.
Go for it.
Okay. Well, everybody, I hope to see you Wednesday, if not beforehand. And good luck with the TLCs. And we will see you next time.
Good luck with raids and